Hare Krishna, Sai Durga Mataji, we missed your association yesterday. Thank you for joining, Mataji, and thank you so much for joining.
Mataji, I thought yesterday class was not there.
No, not yesterday, day before yesterday, Mataji, sorry.
Day before yesterday, I was there, Mataji.
No, I think only Janani Mataji and Abhijit Prabhuji both were there,
I
Mataji.
left early, Mataji. I have another class, so I left.
Oh, is it? Oh, I'm so sorry, Mataji. Then I'm sorry, I missed you then.
Last 10 minutes, I wasn't there, Mataji.
Oh, okay, fine. Thank you so much, Mataji. Sorry. And thank you so much, Suman Mataji, for joining us back again. Thank you so much. So I'll start sharing the screen. So today we are going to start third chapter from 40th and just 4 slokas, and then we'll complete chapter 3. And then we'll start chapter 4 also today. Okay, yeah. So this is, yeah. So Hare Krishna, Dhanlakshmi Mataji, would you like to read the 40th sloka, Mataji? Or should I read?
Mataji, I don't have my spectacles. I'll try, Mataji.
No problem, Mataji. Otherwise, I can read. No problem. If it's okay.
I'll increase the font size and try, Mataji.
Sure. Okay. Sure. Thank you, Mataji.
Indriyani manobuddhir asya dishtanam uchyate etairvimohayati esha jnanam avritya dehinam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So the translation, the senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. So till yesterday we saw what is the greatest enemy that keeps us bound to this material world, and that is lust. So because of this lust, we have these lusty desires. So to fulfill these desires, we keep taking birth again and again. So how to, we are practically saying today Krishna is going to tell Arjuna how to overcome this lust, which is the main cause for a bondage in this material world. Okay, and now here Krishna is telling where does the lust sit? Okay, what is the place? Where is it? Where is it that this lust sits in us? Okay, so Krishna is telling where it sits in the senses, the mind, and intelligence. And what does it do sitting there? It covers our knowledge. Okay, so where is our knowledge here, right? Mind, intelligence, it's here. So it nicely goes there and sits there and it covers our knowledge. So what does it mean when it covers our knowledge? Okay, so when the lust covers us, right, covers our knowledge, what it is trying to do is, it is trying to tell that, I mean, like, actually we are what? We are, our swabhava is, we are soul. We are servants of the Lord. Hare Krishna? Okay. We are servants of the Lord. So the lust, it makes you forget this. We are actually souls and we are servants of the Lord. Okay, but the lust, it gives us this covering. It makes us forget that we are soul and we are servants of the Lord. So it tells us that we are the body. Okay, we should enjoy with this body. Okay, it makes us forget about Krishna. It gives so much importance to this body that you say you've come to this body. Everything in this material world is meant for you to enjoy. So you enjoy, and it makes you forget about Krishna, that you have a relationship with God. You are soul. You are the servant of the Lord. So it makes you forget all that covering of lust. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that actually Prabhupada writes that what do such people who have this covering of lust, what do they think? They think that I am this body, and people related to my body, that is who my wife, my children, my relatives, everything, my land of birth, are worshipable. Okay. And if these people, they go to pilgrimage, what do? They just go to the Punya Tirtha, they say, they go to the water over there and they bathe and they come out. But actually, what is the purpose of going to pilgrimage? You go there, you go to the sannyasis, saints, or learned men over there, and you get the knowledge about God. Okay. But they don't go for that sake. They just go and bathe in the water and they come off. Okay. So here, what Prabhupada is saying, in Srimad Bhagavatam, what do they call such kind of people? Such people are called, compared to ass and cow, ass or a cow. See, the ass and cow, they don't have consciousness, right? They don't know that they are this body. They don't know. They don't know their soul. They have to connect to God. They're ignorant, right? They don't understand. What do? The cows or ass, they go to the water, they nicely bathe, and they come out. So that is what normal people are doing. They are going on to, when they go to pilgrimage, they're not learning about God. They're just going to the water and bathing and coming out just like cows and asses. Okay, so that should not be the case. Okay, so here they are saying that where does lust sit? The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of lust, and it sits there. And what that lust does, it covers our knowledge. It covers our knowledge, saying that you are this body, you are not soul. You enjoy properly. So it gives us that is why we conditioned souls are an illusion. We think we are this body and we are meant, everything in this world is meant for us to enjoy. Okay, so now let us see the next slide. Okay, Hare Krishna Mataji, 41.
Tasmat tvam indriyani adau niyamya bharatarshava papmanam vrajahihinam jnana vijnana nasanam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. Okay, so what does lust destroys? Mainly it destroys what? Our knowledge and self-realization. That is gnana and vijnana. Okay, so that is why Krishna is saying in the beginning itself, control your senses. Okay, curb this lust. Stop this lust in the beginning itself. So control your senses. Let it not go to the mind, intelligence, and all up to that stage. In the beginning itself, you control your senses. Okay, curb this lust. So otherwise, if you don't control, it will lead you to sin. Okay, if it tries to capture you, what will happen? It destroys your gnana and vijnana. Okay, see, what do you mean by gnana, vijnana? So we all know gnana means what? Knowledge. So knowledge of what? See, knowledge of what we learned in the second chapter, right? Gnana yoga or Sankhya. What did we learn in that? Difference between the soul and the body. So if we know the difference between soul and body, that means we have gnana. So some people, they don't have knowledge about the soul, right? People, we are fortunate because of Srila Prabhupada, we could come here and could learn that we are the soul. Otherwise, we all also would be under the illusion that we are body and we are meant to just enjoy in this world, providing more comforts for this body. That is the goal of life. We would all have thought the same thing, right? We would not have that gnana that we are soul or a soul, right? So that's what we need to have, that jnana. That's what this lust, it covers our jnana, this knowledge that we are soul. It tells us that we are body, you enjoy more and more. By doing that, we are just getting more bound up to this material world. So, and what is Vijnana? Vijnana means it's self-realization. What to know that what is the relation between Atma and Paramatma. Okay, so this lust destroys knowledge and self-realization, jnana and vijnana. It makes you fall in moha and maya, so that we think that we are this body. So, and it makes him think that everything in this material world is for your sense gratification. Okay, so it makes us fall, this lust makes us fall in that moha and illusion. Okay, so we think everything in this world is for us to enjoy, and then we get immersed in that. We get entangled, we get attached. Okay, because of which we have many desires. Desires are the material desires are the main cause of us taking birth again and again. Okay, so let's go to the next. Okay, so this is the same thing. The Lord advised Arjuna to regulate the senses from the very beginning. Okay, so that he could curb the greatest sinful enemy, lust, which destroys the urge for self-realization and specific knowledge of the self. That's what he said. Krishna is telling Arjuna, so at the stage of senses itself, you stop this lust. Okay, you stop, you curb this lust. If you do not, it will destroy your what? Jnana, vijnana. That is knowledge and self-realization. So this is what we saw yesterday. In the previous class, text 38, it's in a flowchart form. We'll just go through for those who have not come. Like here, we said like lust has 3 degrees, 3 coverings. Okay, the 3 types of coverings are there for the lust. Okay, so different degrees of covering of lust. So beginning, we said that beginning was like fire coming, and we saw fire and a little bit of smoke, small covering of smoke on the top. But what happens, this is called beginning of Krishna consciousness. Okay, this is for a neophyte devotee, for humans. It is compared to humans. Okay, so humans, for smoke, for fire, if you just blow like this, blow air, the fire increases more. So increasing more and more of fire, and that covering of smoke is reduced, right? You can clearly see the fire, right? And the smoke will be very less visible. Okay, so the more you blow air, the more the fire will increase. So like that, in humans, we have that chance. If we just have faith in Krishna, initial stage, if we are a neophyte devotee, and if somebody encourages us, like how fire, if we blow air, like that, if somebody is in Krishna consciousness, then our layer of lust is removed. It is easy in humans to remove that layer of lust. Not in animals or birds or trees, it is easy. It is easy only in humans, okay, to remove this lust. Okay, you saw how easy, you just need to have a little faith in Krishna. You come and practice bhakti, and if somebody encourages you, gives that, when you blow fire, air to fire, what happens? It ignites. You can see it more clearly. So that, and the smoke is red, it becomes you can't see it. Compared to seeing the fire, the smoke is no longer, it is visible, but the fire you can clearly see, right? Similarly, being in Krishna, when you're a neophyte devotee, if somebody encourages you more in bhakti, you, like that layer of lust can be removed, and you can grow fast in bhakti. Okay, and so next is the dust on the mirror. Okay, so dust on the mirror, it is difficult to remove because a thick layer. See, if you for 1 year you go out of your house and you leave your house like that, you go out of station or out of it's to some international space, you go because you got a job offer or something, and you don't clean the house, and you see the dust on the mirror, thick layer is formed. You can't just remove normally. It is very thick. With the hard work you have to remove, but it will be removed. That layer of dust will be removed. So this process of removing dust is called cleansing by spiritual methods. So how do we cleanse internally? By chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Okay. And this dust in the mirror is compared to animals and birds, where their ignorance, like their consciousness is very little. It's very little because they can't recognize that they are soul and they have an eternal relationship with the super soul, and that we have to gain it, everything that they don't know. Okay, that is known only in the human life. Okay, so that is why they are saying it is a golden opportunity in human form that we can ignite our bhakti and we can progress forward in our bhakti. Okay, so that is about dust in the mirror. And last, woman in the womb, embryo in the womb. So you can see in the picture, right? Embryo is there within the womb. So it is so packed, you cannot remove it. And you can see the embryo, it has no place to move. It has to stay there only. It is stable, it cannot move. Okay, and that layer of the what do you say, the womb cannot be removed. We can't remove that. It's hard. Like how in the smoke fire we could remove, and dust on mirror we could remove with some difficulty. But here, embryo in the womb, there is no chance to remove the womb, right? You can't remove it. So this means that it is compared to knowledge is completely covered. So they are so lusty. So it is completely covered. So here these are compared to womb, embryo in the womb is compared to trees. Okay, they have very, very low consciousness, trees, right? That's why if you plug them also, they don't complain, we can't hear them. Okay, so they're so lusty, they're so full of lust. Lust is covered in them. Okay, so that's why trees, in the previous Janma, who become trees? People who don't want to cover their bodies. Who don't want to cover their bodies, who are full of lust, right? They don't want to cover their bodies. So that's why they become they are so much covered with lust that next janma they become trees. So that is why they have low consciousness, very, very low consciousness they have. The knowledge is completely covered. So the best opportunity, lust can be easily removed only in human race, human beings. Okay, if we just, if somebody encourages us a little in Krishna consciousness, pushes us a bit in Krishna consciousness, like how fire, though smoke is there on top, if we blow air, the fire ignites and becomes big, right? Similarly, and the smoke hardly is visible because the fire is so big now, we don't give comparison, like we forget about the smoke, we see more about the fire. So like that, if somebody encourages us in Krishna consciousness, and we progress so fast, and that layer of lust is also removed. So we progress fast in bhakti. Okay, our anarthas go away fast. Okay, so this is what is said in about the degrees of lust. They are comparing how in animals it will be, how in humans it will be, how in trees it will be. It is compared here. Okay, different degrees of lust. And 39, we have more characteristics of lust. Okay, characteristics of lust. See what it does. What does lust to do? We discussed. It covers living entities' pure consciousness. So what is this pure consciousness that we have? That we are soul. That gnana and vijnana, it covers. We just now saw, right? It covers the gnana and the vijnana. It covers the living entities' pure consciousness. It makes them think that they are this body, not soul. You enjoy happily here with this body. So lust is the symbol of ignorance. Why? See, yesterday we saw in the previous class we saw that lust is in the mode of passion. When the lust is not satisfied, you get angry, anger, hatred. That is mode of ignorance. So that is why they're saying lust is a symbol of ignorance. See, because of lust, initially at least when we had lust, we were in the mode of passion. But when the lust is not satisfied, we got anger and we got degraded to mode of ignorance. But if you want to curb this lust, what should you do? At least we should you should not get degraded. At least we should come to sattva guna, right? How can we come to sattva guna? By practicing Krishna consciousness. Okay, so what we think, if we satisfy lust, okay, if I feel like eating some gulab jamun, you may think that if I eat that gulab jamun, my lust will be satisfied. Okay, fine, now my craving is over, so let me satisfy my lust. We think that way, but lust is never satisfied. You will always hanker for more. The more you give sense gratification, the more you will want it. Okay, so yesterday, in the previous class, we saw that how, like for example, if you buy a cell phone, okay, initially you may think that, oh, if I buy this cell phone, it has come into the market, latest model. So you the iPhone model, latest version has come up, and you think that, okay, I'll be the happiest person if I get this cell phone, and I don't want anything else. Now you bring that phone, and 1-2 months over. Now that happiness that you got initially is not there. Okay, and now into the market after 2 months, another version of iPhone comes. Now he thinks, "Arey, why did I buy that phone? I should have just hold on to myself and just waited for 1 more month." So again, he's getting frustration now, anger. Even though his lust was satisfied, he bought that phone. Still, his lust was not satisfied. Now, what is he thinking? Arey, no, I should have got this. I should have just waited for 1 month. I would have got this new brand phone, new version. Okay, so it is greed again now. He's again, because of greed, he's thinking, he's getting frustrated, he's getting angry. Okay, so it is greed. It is never, lust is never satisfied. Okay, it goes on, goes on. The more you feed it, the more you get lusty. Okay, so here we see, right, satisfying lust is like adding fuel to fire. You think you want to extinguish the fire or put off fire by adding petrol. Can fire be extinguished by adding petrol? No, right? In fact, it becomes more. So by giving more enjoyment, you think, by giving enjoyment, you think you're satisfying the lust and now I can peacefully do my work. No. In fact, by giving, you are getting more and more attached, more and more attached. Okay, so lust is never satisfied. Okay, but how to stop it? That's why Krishna is saying, stop feeding it. Okay, and let it die by itself. Don't encourage, don't do that. Suppose you have lust for anything, don't do that, just stop it. Okay, just that's what Krishna is saying, curb lust, stop it there itself, and at this stage of senses itself, stop it, don't feed it, don't encourage it. You may think that, oh, if I satisfy it, then my craving will be over, my lust will go away. No, it won't go away. You get more and more attached. We saw that cycle, right? How we get more attached, bewildered, and finally we lose our intelligence, and then again we fall into this material pool. So that is what happens. So we should stop it initially at the stage of senses. Senses in the sense when we see it itself, stop it. Don't go further. Don't let it go to your mind and then intelligence like that. No. Stop it at the senses. Let it die. Don't encourage it. That's what they're saying. Okay. 40. Now we saw, right, how to conquer. We saw the sitting places where lust sits. Okay, so where does lust sit? We said senses, mind, intelligence. Okay, so senses, we know what are the senses: sight, hearing, taste. I'll zoom it for you. That is why I didn't take the slideshow, so that I can zoom in and show you clearly. Yeah, so sight, hearing, taste, touch, smell, all that. Okay, so these are the senses. So at this stage itself, Krishna is telling you stop lust initially. Okay, but where does generally lust sit? Senses, mind, intelligence. Okay, senses, when they see an object, it goes to the mind. Okay, so mind gives the judgment. Mind says, oh, come on, you have to get that phone, you have to see, mind is actually, they're saying, see, in yellow box, it is the center of all activities of the senses. It stores everything, whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you taste, whatever you touch, smell, everything is stored in the mind here. Okay, immediately when, see, we see many things on the road. But everything is not attached in our mind, right? Whatever we like, whatever we are attached to, that stays in our mind. And when we see that again, see the mind, I mean, it says, yeah, you wanted this, right? It says that way, you wanted this sense object, you wanted this, you wanted to enjoy this. The mind keeps telling you, see, it's the reservoir of ideas for sense gratification. It stores everything here. And when time comes, it brings out everything. Okay, so mind is also gives that lusty suggestions. You enjoy it, makes you remember. It stores everything in the mind, and then it tells you that thing. And intelligence also, again, it is intelligence. It influences the soul to acquire false ego. So intelligence says, I mean, intelligence also here, it becomes lusty. It doesn't say that you are soul, you are this, you're not this body, come on, like that. No. So it encourages, influences. It also encourages the mind. Intelligence encourages mind, saying that, oh, your body, come on, you enjoy. So it puts the soul into illusion. See, it influences the soul to that false ego. What is our false ego? We think we are this body, we are the enjoyers. We think, right, we are the masters of this world. Everybody has to listen to us. Everybody has to listen to what I say, right? So that is what. So lust generally sits in the senses, mind, and intelligence. Okay, so my senses is the first place. It sees that object, right? Dull matter. Okay, so dull matter is what? All the sense objects that we see. It could be anything, cell phone, anything. Okay, all the material objects, whatever is your sense gratification, whatever you like, dull matter. So superior to dull matter are the senses actually. So why senses? Senses can perceive, like you can sight, they can, you can see, you can hear, you can taste, you can touch, you can smell. So higher than dull matter are the senses. Higher than the senses is the mind. See, why mind is better is, see, sometimes, the mind, even though you may think that the body is not working, okay, it is just sitting or sleeping, even though, then the mind is always working. Okay, mind, that is why you get dreams, because the mind never sleeps. Okay, mind is always awake, it is just working. You may think I'm not working, I'm just sitting or sleeping, but the mind is working. That also means to say that you're working, not necessarily physically only working, mentally also you're working. Okay, so that is the thing. And then actually what intelligence does is it judges. It gives us that intelligence that to judge what is good or wrong. Okay, here when we become so lusty, intelligence also, it falls. Generally, how intelligence should overtake the mind. It should give us a good suggestion actually. Okay, but here because I mean, like, yeah, mind is become so lust. Hare Krishna. I mean, I can hear somebody's voices. If you could please mute your voices, please. Yeah, thank you. So the intelligence also becomes lusty. It's not able to judge now. Okay, but actually, if the intelligence is strong, it gives good decision. It controls the mind, and we'll see how in the coming shlokas how the intelligence will be strong, how our buddhi will be strong, so that it can control the mind. But now at this point, it has become lusty. Okay, intelligence is also lusty, so it conveys to the soul, it influences the soul that you are the body, you have to enjoy. Okay, so actually dull matter, we'll see in the next shloka, I think. Dull matter, higher than dull matter is the senses, we saw. Higher than the senses is the mind. So mind is like it's working even though when the body is not working. So, and it is a reservoir of everything because it is active throughout. Even though your body is sleeping or whatever, the mind is active. So that's why it is higher than the senses, the mind. And higher than the mind is the intelligence, because it can govern the mind. It can take the correct decision. Okay, so that is why higher than the mind is intelligence. And above the intelligence actually is the soul. A soul is actually the master. Actually, the master who can control the senses, mind, and intelligence. But here, in this case, because it is lusty, the soul, he said, right, it has become lusty, it is covered with that, it is covered with lust. So we lost all our vijnana and gnana. So that is why soul, it gives in. Okay, it gives in and it thinks that because of all these lusty desires, it thinks that it is the body. And now we'll see in the forthcoming shlokas how to conquer this enemy lust, how to make our buddhi strong. Okay, so that it listens to us. Okay, we'll see that. See, in 41, now we saw that shloka, right? How to overcome lust? By regulate. Krishna says, right? You regulate the senses, curb the lust. So when the stage of senses itself, you regulate the senses. Okay, you control the senses. You stop it there itself. Don't further proceed. Don't store it in your mind. See, if you don't store it in, see, on the road you are going and you see many garbage dustbins. Is it stored in your mind? No, right? You don't even put, uh, you neglect it, you forget, you don't even remember. Or do you, if you see a cow on the road grazing, you remember that? No, right? No. So whatever you like, that is stored in the mind, right? So the senses, everything that they see is not stored. What you like, what you're attached to is stored in the mind. So that's why what you store in your mind is very important. Okay, so that is why Krishna is saying, regulate your senses. What you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you touch. That's why they say you have to follow these rules and regulations, be in Sattva Guna. Then everything changes. Then you're regulating, controlling your senses. Okay, so that's why. So how can we regulate the senses? By learning, but by destroying that, destroying lust. How do you destroy lust? By making your buddhi strong. How can you make a buddhi strong? By giving that knowledge. By, doing Krishna consciousness, practicing Krishna consciousness, as Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, even a late beginner can become a lover of God by following regulative principles of devotional service. Okay, so now I'll minimize it. Okay, so now we are in the 42nd shloka. Mataji, Hare Krishna. Dhanlakshmi Mataji. Hare Krishna, we are not able to hear you, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, please.
Indriyani parani ahur indriyebhya param manaha manasastu param buddhi yo buddhi paratastu saha. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The working senses, see, that's what we discussed in the previous, right? We said the order, which is more superior and which is higher, right? See, the working senses are superior to dull matter. Okay, so you can see the chart here, right, on the right hand side. And mind is higher than the senses, and intelligence is still higher than the mind, and the soul is even higher than the intelligence. So we saw the order, right? First, body, that is dull matter. So dull matter could be any material objects, your body itself, right? It's all dull matter. Okay, and next is like senses. Senses are superior to dull matter. Okay, see, see, okay, let me just say first the hierarchy. And above the senses is the mind, and above the mind is intelligence, and higher than intelligence is soul. The soul is the highest of all. Okay, is the superior most of all. Okay, then intelligence, then mind, then senses, then body. Okay, so body is nothing but dull matter. Okay, so that is the thing. So now, suppose for example, there is a non-devotee. Okay, so his consciousness is totally covered by lust. Okay, and now he gets attracted to this material object. So material objects is any dull matter, right? So dull matter, he gets attracted. How? Through the senses. Okay, if you don't have the senses, how will he get attracted? How will he see or feel, or he will not be able to do? So better than dull matter is what? Senses. Because even though the dull matter is there, without these senses, what is the use of the dull matter? Nothing, right? So that's why using these senses, you can see the dull matter. Okay, that is body or whatever, your sense objects, whatever. Could be cell phone, anything. So that is why senses are given higher priority. Okay. So he gets attracted to this material object through the senses. Okay. The senses pull the mind. I told you, right? The senses, when you see that particular cell phone, every day you're walking through the road and you see that cell phone. You have it in mind again every day. It is stored in your mind. Oh, how my friends have all got. I don't have. When will I get? So every time you pass the road, you see that cell phone shop, and then you think, oh no, and it gets stored. How? It gets stored in your mind. Right. So you start becoming lusty. It's stored every time you walk past by that shop. You remember that it is stored in your mind. And what happens? The mind pulls the intelligence. So he's become so lusty that intelligence also tells somehow you should have it, because now he's become lusty, right? His Vijnana and Vijnana is covered. He does not have even the intelligence does not have, cannot make a good decision because of the lust. Okay, generally, if it were pure, the intelligence says, no, this is not needed for you right now. I mean, if it is really not needed, it would say, it is not needed for you right now, and somehow convince him. Okay, it is so costly, or you cannot afford it, it's not needed. It's just a luxury, it's a luxury phone. Why do we need the phone? It would have convinced, the intelligence would have convinced him. Phone is just for talking or some specific needs, camera or something like that, messages like that. So it would have convinced him if it was really not needed. But here, since we are covered by lust, intelligence also is not able to judge properly. It gives in. Okay, and soul obviously is also covered with lust now. Right. So that Jnana and Vijnana is lost now. The soul thinks it's the body, and now it thinks that I'm this body and I want to enjoy. Somehow I have to get that phone. That's all. Okay. So it is that soul. Body senses is body in the sense here they're saying dull matter. Dull matter is like the sense objects, the material objects or whatever. And so the senses are higher, and higher than the senses are the mind, higher than the mind is intelligence and soul. Okay, next, go to the next one. Kindly, I mean, like, it's a little cited, difficult topic. If anybody has doubts, kindly please note them. And after the class, we'll surely clear them. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, the senses are different outlets for the activities of lust reserved in the body. So we saw, right, through the senses itself, we can see the dull matter. Okay.
Oh.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think there's some disturbance. Please, can all of you mute yourself? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay, the senses, through the senses only we can view that dull matter. Okay, whatever we are lusty for, be a cell phone or some eatable rasgulla, gulab jamun, whatever that particular thing is. Okay, therefore the senses are superior to the body, right? As a whole, quieted in Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, the soul makes direct connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That we know, right? And the bodily action is functioning of the senses. So here they're saying, see, when the body, how is the body acting? Through the senses, right? Anything. We have 5 working senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Through that, it works. That is the body, right? That's what they're saying. If a body is functioning, means it is because of the senses. And bodily inaction is stopping the senses. If the body is not working, means what? The senses are not working. What does it mean? Next, they are trying to say, but since the mind is active, see, I told you, right? Even though the body is not functioning, the mind is always active. So that is why higher than the senses is the mind. It is always working, though the body and the senses are not working. Senses in the sense, all are sleeping. Senses may be sleeping. Eyes may be closed. The tongue tastes when you're sleeping, no taste. Okay, you may be whatever be the thing. Okay, so but the mind is working. So that is why they are saying here, but since the mind is active, then even though the body may be silent and at rest, the mind will act. You can see that you get dreams. Why do you get dreams? That is the reason you get dreams, because the mind is active, even though the body is sleeping. Okay, so that is why they're saying the mind is higher than the senses. Okay, then above the mind is the determination of intelligence. Okay, and above the intelligence is the soul. So soul is on the highest stage. So if the soul is directly engaged with the supreme, naturally all other subordinates, what are the subordinates below soul? It is the intelligence, mind and senses. They will automatically be follow the soul, because soul is on the highest position, right? So automatically all these three will automatically have to follow. So the best thing they're saying is, if you practice Krishna consciousness, the soul practices Krishna consciousness, automatically the below three, which are below the soul, the mind, intelligence and senses, will automatically also become Krishna conscious. Okay, they will automatically be engaged. Okay, so therefore, directly understanding the constitutional position of the soul with intelligence and mind in Krishna consciousness is the solution to the whole problem. So that is why how can we control lust? The solution, what we saw, right, in that fire covering the smoke, we saw, right? We may be a neophyte devotee with little faith. If somebody encourages, gives us a push, we can go forward in Krishna consciousness and remove that small layer of lust. Easily we can remove and we can go forward in a path of bhakti. Okay, so for anything and everything, the Krishna consciousness, practicing Krishna consciousness, doing devotional service to the Lord is the only solution. There's no alternative. Okay, see, a neophyte spiritualist is generally advised to keep aloof from the objects of senses. Okay, so a new devotee is generally he's advised to keep away from all these, go far away from all these sense objects. Okay, but aside from that, one has to strengthen the mind by the use of intelligence, by engaging it in Krishna consciousness. See, the mind just doesn't generally see how many people practice Krishna consciousness. By looking, it looks as if it's very easy for us. Oh, it's so simple, just practicing Krishna consciousness. But how many are practicing Krishna consciousness? Practically, we can count the whole 100% of population. How many are really Krishna? How many are devotees? Right? Hardly 1%. It sounds easy. That's why we see the whole world is like in the bodily concept, and what they think their goal is like to be comfortable, to be wealthy. They work like donkeys, hogs. They work and they work more than required. They do ugra karma, and in the weekends they work again. Enjoy Saturday, Sunday they get and they spend on eating at the restaurants and going to movies, parties, kitty parties, whatever. Restaurants and all that they do. Okay, they are harming their health and everything. I mean, like by working those 5 days hard, they are spoiling their life. And again, using that money, again they're eating outside restaurants. That is also all junk they will eat. I don't know. We don't know how it is prepared and with what kind of oils, what kind of hands, I mean, like sanity and everything. So both ways they're spoiling their life. Okay. So here, that's why they're saying it looks easy, but I mean hardly, very rarely people come to practice Krishna consciousness. So, but the only way we can get detached from this material world, that is from lust, from getting bound up, is by practicing Krishna consciousness. Okay, so even though the senses are very strong, are like serpents with broken fangs. So here they're saying even the senses are strong, but even then, if for example, if there is a serpent, if the fangs are removed, and then we don't have any danger, right? So that's what they're saying. Even though the senses are strong, if by practice of Krishna consciousness, it is stopped at the stage of senses, at the stage of senses by practicing Krishna consciousness. See, when we are in Krishna consciousness, what do we see? Everything sattva guna, right? We see the Lord, we see the devotees, like whatever is like everything is sattva. It's like the fangs broken, the serpent's broken fangs. Like snake is not at all in danger now after removing the fangs. There's no poison, right? So wherever you see, everything is sattvic. There's no object that is Rajoguna or Tamoguna there. Okay, so that's what they're saying. So this is also the same thing. They're saying, see, bodily platform means they're comparing to senses, dull matter. You saw the dull matter cell phone. So above dull matter is what? The sensual platform, the senses. We saw, right? The senses. Then above the senses is the mental platform, the mind. We saw, right? Mind is a reservoir of everything. Okay, so that is the mental platform. Above the mind is the intelligence, the intellectual platform, where it makes decisions, what is good or not, generally what is good or not. But here in this condition, we are talking about lust. So it becomes lusty and it gives in. Like soul on the spiritual platform also thinks, because it's covered with lust, it thinks that it is also this body. But generally, if it's on the sattva state, it will understand. Intelligence will tell, no, you are soul. You should not do this. You are not the body. You are the soul. You are meant to serve the Lord. If you serve the Lord, you get that eternal happiness. Your soul, the swabhava of the soul is Satchidananda. Okay, maybe we are not Satchidananda as much as Lord Krishna, but since we are part and parcel of him, maybe Krishna is 100% Satchidananda, we are at least 1% Satchidananda, right? So that way. Okay, this is shloka number 42. Okay. Okay. So these are the hierarchy of the sitting places of lust. So now we saw it. I'll just zoom in a bit and I'll show it to you. See, now first we said, right, different outlets for activities of lust. First we said, right, is dull matter. So whatever, whatever object that attracts us, it could be land, property, fan, cycle, whatever, cell phone, like here we see dull matter. So above dull matter is senses. Senses we saw, right? Smell, touch and all that. Above the senses is the mind, where it stores all these sense objects, whatever we like. Our likes and dislikes are stored in the mind. They come out at the correct time. And intelligence makes the decision. Okay. And then the last is soul. He's on the topmost position. Okay. So this is these are the outlets where the lust sits. Intelligence, mind, senses. Okay. And the hierarchy we saw. Dull matter. Above dull matter is senses. Above senses is the mind. Above mind is the intelligence. Above intelligence is the soul. And how do we come out from lust? From all this lust? But if the soul engages in Krishna conscious activities, automatically, because soul is on the higher platform, below platform ones, what intelligence, mind, senses will automatically be engaged in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so here caution they're saying, see, even though the soul is the master of intelligence, mind, and senses, unless it is strengthened by Krishna consciousness, there is every chance of falling down. See, due to the agitated mind. Even though artificially you try to control, you will come back again. Those lusty desires, if you try to suppress the lust, it won't last for a long time. It will come back by force. And in fact, you become more and more lusty. So the only way to come out of this lust is engaging the soul. The soul has to get engaged in Krishna consciousness. And if the soul gets engaged, automatically the mind, the senses, intelligence are engaged in Krishna consciousness. Okay. At that time, our mind becomes steady. There is no chance of it getting disturbed or agitated. Okay. Okay, I'll just give you an example. Actually, I'll go to the slide. Before we go to the 43, I want to explain this chariot one. I want to show that picture and explain. Yeah, this one. So can all of you see this the chariot of the body? Okay. So here, see now, we can see the chariot with 5 horses, right? So now this body is the vehicle. Okay, is the chariot. The chariot is the body. And through this chariot, the body, we have to reach a destination. What is our destination? We have to go back to Godhead. So we know the path. What is the path? Bhakti Yoga. Okay. So if the Atma, the soul, wants to go there, it has to go in a particular direction. Okay, the Atma knows it has to go back to Godhead. It knows the direction. So there is one particular direction where it has to go. Right? So then only he can reach his destination. Okay. So what do we have to do? What does the buddhi we have to do? I mean, what does the soul have to do? The buddhi, the intelligence. See, we can see, right, that who is the chariot driver? The intelligence is the chariot driver. So what the chariot driver has to do? He has to control the horses, right? What are the horses here? The five senses. Okay, so the intelligence has to tell. The chariot driver. Okay, has to move the horses properly in one direction. Okay, so then only they can reach the destination. Okay, so not like that as senses are pulling. Are pulling in different directions. We cannot keep them under control. See, if our senses are going here and there, our mind gets disturbed. Right? See, if all the horses are going in different directions, where will you're supposed to, so for instance, go straight. So one horse is going right, one horse is going left, one is going some other way. So will you be able to reach your destination like that? No, right? So like that, if all our senses are going in different directions, like how will mind is so undisturbed, right? So we cannot we cannot control the mind, right? See, for that, what should be strong? Main thing is to control the horses, the mind. What is it that is controlling the reins or the ropes? So the intelligence, like the chariot driver, through these reins has to control the senses through the mind. Okay, for that the intelligence has to be strong. Okay, then only the mind can control the senses. Okay, so if buddhi is strong, then it can control the senses. Okay, it can control the mind, and then through the mind the senses. Okay, so if the mind can control the senses, that is the horses, then we can reach the destination, right? Okay, so through the intelligence, how the chariot driver, through the reins, he can control the horses, like saying that it should go only in one direction, like by pulling. So like that, if the intelligence tells the mind, guides the mind, if the intelligence is strong and it guides the mind, it tells the mind, no, you have, and it pulls the senses like this. Intelligence pulls the mind, tells the mind, but it pulls the mind saying that no, don't like this. It tells this, the mind tells the senses, no, not like that. Go in a particular direction. Okay, then you can reach your goal. You can go back to Godhead. When all the horses go in one particular direction, when the buddhi is strong, the main thing is the buddhi has to be strong. Then it can guide the mind, and through the mind, the senses. Okay, so then they can go in one direction. So the thing is, we see how we can control. First, we have to control the senses. Okay. Krishna said, right, we have to, at the stage of senses itself, we have to control. How we can control? See, if the senses want to enjoy unrestrictedly, so we should not allow. So why is it that in ISKCON we follow these 4 rules and regulations? That is the reason we follow these rules and regulations, like no meat eating, we don't even eat egg, right? And no intoxication, cigarettes, drugs, drinking, gutka, pan. So we don't eat all these, okay? And no illicit sex, no gambling. So we follow all these rules and regulations. Why? To curb our senses from lust. Okay. Okay. So by this, we are controlling our senses. Step. Next is like we follow this ABCD. All of you must be knowing. Association of devotees is very important. Okay. And then book reading. Read Prabhupada books. We get a lot of knowledge. What is what? Okay. C is the most important thing. Chanting. Okay. That is the Kali Yuga Dharma. Sankirtan Yagna. Okay. And D is diet. We eat prasadam offered to the Lord. Food that is offered to the Lord. So Prabhupada says we are not non-vegetarian or we are not vegetarian. We are Krishnatarians. Okay, so we eat food that is offered to the Lord. So we don't eat onion, garlic. We don't eat mushrooms. And I've heard we don't eat radish and all that also. Yeah. So all that we don't eat. So by following this, like we are giving our senses, mind and intelligence the correct knowledge, the correct intelligence. Okay. And so buddhi has to be strong first. The Sarathi has to be strong. Then only the horses can be controlled. See, if buddhi is strong, through the reins he can pull back the senses, right? Through rein means what? Pulling the ropes means what? Mind. Okay, all this can be done if intelligence is strong. So now we'll see in the further shloka how that buddhi can be strong. Okay. See, if the Sarathi is not strong, the horses, we said, like, will go in different directions. And obviously, what will happen to the chariot? It will fall down. If the horses are going in hither, like, obviously, the chariot will fall down if it's not in one direction. Okay. And here, Prabhupada says in the purport, even not 5 horses, even if one horse goes in one side, the whole chariot will be dragged to because one horse goes to the left side and all horses go to that side. So the direction has changed. So the chariot is now going in the wrong direction. It's not necessary that all the 5 horses or 5 senses go in the wrong in some other direction. Even if one of the senses goes in the it gets diverted, it goes to some other side, even then there is fall down. Okay. So here, but I mean, like if there is one sense, we may not see the difference immediately. The fall down is may not be immediate. It may take some time. But if if the person is enjoying too much sense gratification with all the senses, then the body gets destroyed soon. Okay, with one sense, with one sense thing, if you enjoy, maybe see because it's only one sense, so you may not see the destruction soon. With 5, with 5 senses, if you're enjoying, then the destruction is fast because all your senses are enjoying. Okay, so according to science also, those who live in Tamu and Rajoguna, okay, their lifespan will reduce fast. Okay, if you drink too much alcohol, cigarette, sometime or the other, he will get cancer. Okay, if they have to live for 100 years because of cigarette smoking, their lifespan reduces to 80 years. And suppose if his lifespan is 80 years, he'll come to 60 years. So even in Rajoguna, if you try too much sense gratification, like Rajoguna, what do? They work like Ugra Karma. They work like donkeys. They work very hard, working 2-3 times more than what is required because of greed. So if your body, if you use a body more than required, the body gets destroyed. The lifespan is reduced. So Rajoguna and Tamoguna destroys our body. So those on Sattva-guna, they stay for long. They get less diseases. And Rajo and Tamoguna give rise to more diseases. Okay, so in Ayurveda also it is said, as soon as you are born, your lifespan is fixed. So your breathing, how many times you breathe, the breaths are recorded. Like for instance, you have 1 million breaths for this life. As soon as that 1 millionth breath is over, you're over. That's it. Not one more, one less. Your life is over. Okay, per your breaths. So once your breathing at that 1 millionth is done, you're out. That's it. Okay. So that is why these yogis and all, they do this pranayama. They do breathing exercises. They slow their breathing. They control their breathing and make it long. So if they can hold on for more amount of time, their lifespan is increased, right? Okay. If we breathe in, breathe out for every second, our breath count is like fast. But when you practice pranayama, they keep sometimes 1 minute, 2 minutes. So the lifespan, that is why it increases. That is why you see all these yogis, they have a long span. They stay for some stay for 150 years, 200 years. We see them, right? like that. So, but in when you, in Rajaguna, they work hard and they put more effort. They're running here and there. They gas for breath, right? So like that, when they work hard, their breath is fast. They breathe more, so the lifespan is reduced. It becomes their life comes to an end fast because they exhale fast more times. Okay, so the lungs work more, the breath is fast, and the lifespan is reduced. See, now we may not feel the difference because young age, they will not know the difference. When you come to like 60, 50, 60, then they will know the difference. Okay. So, if we live in Sattva Guna, it is advantages both on the material plane and on the spiritual plane. So, the lifestyle given in our Shastras is that is good on both the, so we have to be in Sattva Guna. Okay, that is per the Shastras, which is good for us both on the material and the spiritual plane. Okay, so I just wanted to explain this. Okay, so how if our intelligence is strong, it can control the mind and the senses. Okay, I will go back to 43 again. Yeah. Mataji, Hare Krishna, 43, please, if you could read.
Yes, Mataji. Evam buddhi param buddhva samshatyatmanam atmanam sahi shastrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thus, knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind, and intelligence, O mighty armed Arjuna, one should steady the mind, see, by deliberate spiritual intelligence, Krishna consciousness, and thus, by spiritual strength, conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. Okay, so now we will see how we can strengthen our buddhi. Okay, so the Sarathi has to be very strong. So, but where does the Sarathi get the strength from? Okay, what is Krishna saying here? By spiritual intelligence. Okay, by spiritual knowledge, buddhi gets this strength. Okay, so when buddhi becomes strong, so with that spiritual power, spiritual intelligence, you can overcome lust. So then if you can overcome lust, what will happen? You can progress very fast on your path to bhakti. Okay. See, we cannot control our senses actually. Okay, we have no power to control our senses. See, only Krishna has the power to control the senses. So, how to control our senses? The only way is engage the senses in the service of the Lord. So, Krishna is called Hrishikesha. He's the master of the senses. He's the controller of our senses. Okay, so then when we engage our senses in the service of the Lord, then our senses are automatically controlled. So that is the only way. Not artificially, we can't by ourselves. We may control our senses. Okay, I won't enjoy this. I won't do this. For some time, it will stick to us, but not forever. After 1 week, you give in. But the actual process is make your buddhi strong by spiritual intelligence. That is by engaging yourself in Krishna consciousness, by doing devotional service, by engaging all your senses in Krishna service. Okay, when you do devotional service, automatically your senses are controlled. So then we can overcome lust. So then we can escape the influence of Rajo and Tamoguna. Okay, because all the activities of the Lord are in Shuddha Sattva. Okay, so when we engage our senses in service of the Lord, so we also overcome that last, we progress on the path of bhakti and we get purified. So this is how we can come out of lust. Okay, by practicing Krishna consciousness, by engaging all our senses, by whatever is there with us, we just engage it in the service of the Lord. Okay, so now let's see what Prabhupada has given the purport. Material existence of life certainly influenced by propensities for lust and desire for dominating. So we know that, right? Why all of us have come to this material world? We want to lord it over material nature. We want to be the master. We want to be the controller. That's why we all of us are here, right? In this material world. We are lusty and we have these desires. That's why we are here in this material world. See, desire for overloading and for sense gratification is the greatest enemy of the conditioned soul. Okay. Krishna consciousness alone, one can control. See, the material senses. That's what Krishna was telling too, right? Well, the only way you can control your senses is giving spiritual intelligence, Krishna consciousness alone. So when you engage all your senses in my service, can they be controlled or regulated? So gradually developing Krishna consciousness, one can be situated without being influenced by the material senses and mind. Okay. So we won't be influenced by the material senses when we are practicing Krishna consciousness. We won't listen to the senses and mind because now the senses are controlled by Krishna, right? When we engage our senses in Krishna, it's no longer under our control. Now it's Krishna who is controlling. Okay. This is the sum total of this chapter. In the immature stage of material existence, philosophical speculations and artificial attempts, to control the senses by the so-called practice of yogic postures can never help a man towards spiritual life. So all these artificial methods that we engage to remove lust is impractical. Prabhupada says in the purport. The only practical way is like engaging our senses in the service of the Lord and practicing Krishna consciousness. Okay. See, he says in the last, he must be trained in Krishna consciousness by higher intelligence. Okay. So that is what. So we complete chapter 3. Now we'll start chapter 4. And chapter 4 named, it's named Transcendental Knowledge. Okay. Jnana Yoga. So this is what is the jnana that Krishna is talking. Like if you know this knowledge, then your lust is removed. Okay, what is that transcendental knowledge? That spiritual intelligence, knowledge that is required to remove the lust. Okay, that is what is Krishna is going to discuss in this transcendental knowledge. And so sorry, we all forgot to take the blessings of Sri Radha Govindji. So it's never too late. So let us please take the blessings of the beautiful deities of Sri Radha Govindji. Sri Radha Govindji ki jai. Okay, so chapter 3, we saw all this, right? So we just give a quick recap of chapter 3. So Arjuna is like, first we see that in the start of chapter 3, it starts with he is confused. See what Arjuna is thinking Buddhi Yoga is. So Arjuna is thinking Buddhi Yoga it deals with intelligence, Jnana. So what do the Jnana or Sankhya people do? They go to the forest, they read books, right? They read neat books, they gain knowledge, and with their own knowledge, they try to speculate, right? So what Arjuna was thinking, when you're saying Buddhi Yoga, it means I have to go to the forest and do meditation, obtain knowledge there. And at the same time, you are telling, but what is Buddhi Yoga for Krishna? It means working for Krishna with no expectation of results. That is like he wants Arjuna to fight without expectation of results. So he is not able to understand. So Arjuna is thinking, okay, Buddhi Yoga means I have to go to the forest. And Krishna is saying fight. So he is not able to understand. Now whether I have to fight or either I have to go to the forest. Okay, he's confused. So he's telling Krishna, please tell clearly. So now, because Arjuna is taking the meaning of Buddhi Yoga and Nishkama Karma Yoga in a different way, he explains Nishkama Karma Yoga in detail, right? From 3.3 to 3.9. And for people who are not able to follow Nishkama Karma Yoga, Krishna next takes them to Karma Kanda. So at least you do Karma Kanda. How? By practicing, by doing yagnas. Okay, but what is doing yagna? Like you do your prescribed duties, what is mentioned in the Shastras, that is yagna. Okay, so Karma Kanda you do. Okay, if you're not able to do Nishkama Karma Yoga, you at least do Karma Kanda. And then slowly from Karma Kanda, once you get purified doing yagnas, you will get purified. Then slowly you will come to Nishkama Karma Yoga. Okay, and then lead by example. So Krishna says, though Arjuna, you are fit to accept karma sannyas. Okay, still you have to lead by example. See, if you don't lead by example, no, everybody will say, Arjuna, the Kshatriya, was supposed to fight. He didn't fight. He didn't do his duty. So why should we follow? Why should we do our duty? Because generally, common people follow the leaders, right? So even though Arjuna is fit to accept karma sannyas, he didn't want any. I mean, like, no work is supposed. He is not required to do any work because he's not interested in the kingdom at all. He doesn't want the kingdom, anything he doesn't want. He's not interested. He's just fighting because Krishna is saying to establish dharma, you fight. Okay, so that is the reason he's fighting. So now that's why Krishna is saying you fight for that dharma. Because you're a Kshatriya, your duty is to fight. Even though you don't have to, I mean, you said you're not interested in anything, but still you want to accept karma sannyas, but still you have to fight. You have to do your prescribed duties to set an example to the common people because they will follow you. Okay, that is lead by example. And now we discussed about the greatest enemy. What is the greatest enemy that keeps us stuck, bound in this material world? Is lust. And we saw how lust we can be removed by practicing Krishna consciousness, by engaging our senses in the service of the Lord. Okay. Chapter 4, we'll start. Okay, so it tells transcendental knowledge about Krishna. It's all about Bhagavad Gita. So the history of Bhagavad Gita. So the first sloka, Mataji, Hare Krishna, 4.1.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, please.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivashvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivaswan Manave Praha Manur Ikshvakave Abravit. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, I'm leaving. I'm having another class, Mataji. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna, Mataji.
Now we have the recordings, Mataji. You can please listen to the recordings, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
We were supposed to start at 6 o'clock now. What happened?
No, Mataji, actually there's a clash, Mataji. Like the Mataji, the other Mataji with the same link, she's having a class from 4:30, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji.
That is continuing till 5:50 like that.
Okay.
So that's why we had to shift, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so translation. The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god, Vivaswan, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. Okay, so here let's, so we see the parampara. Okay, how Krishna is giving the history, the parampara, how initially Bhagavad Gita was given by Krishna. So Krishna gave the Bhagavad Gita, I mean knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to whom? Sun god Vivaswan. Okay, and Vivaswan gave it to his son, who? Manu, who is the father of mankind. And Manu, he gave it to his son and disciple, to whom? Maharaj Ikshvaku. Okay, now let's see what is the importance of parampara. See, transcendental knowledge about Krishna should be received by disciplic succession. Why? Because this reveals the truth about Krishna's form, his birth and activities. See, when we learn in disciplic succession, what happens from the guru to the disciple to the, like that, it comes in parampara. You from Krishna, right? It started. Krishna gave the knowledge to Brahma, Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasa, and so on. It continued till Prabhupada, right? So, what is this disciplic succession? The knowledge is not at all altered, like there is no addition or no reduction. Whatever Krishna has said, that is why it is Bhagavad Gita, right? Spoken by God Himself. If we make alterations and changes, then it is no longer Bhagavad Gita. It will become our Gita because we've made changes. And what is the value of our changes? We have 4 defects. Humans have 4 defects. What is the use of our making changes? So that is why, no, that is why disciplic succession, that parampara is very important. Okay, so because they give the message, it's like a postman, he delivers the message as it is, be it sad news or happy news. Nothing he has to do. It's not his problem. He just delivers the message as it is, the postcard as it is to the customer. Right. Similarly, the from Krishna, the parampara continues. Like whatever Bhagwan has given, Krishna has given, the same thing is told by in parampara. Okay. So that is why. So when it comes in parampara, we can know exactly what Krishna has said. See, it tells us about Krishna's form, his birth, and his activity, what he did, everything. So, what happens if we know these truths? Knowing these truths, one who takes shelter of Krishna becomes purified and attains Krishna. So, that is what is our goal, right? So, if we know this truth of the Bhagavad Gita, we take shelter of Krishna and we become purified and we can go back to Godhead. Okay. So, Bhagavad Gita was delivered by the Lord to the royal order of all planets, beginning from the sun planet. So here Bhagavad Gita was given, we saw right in Parampara first, he gave it to sun god Vivaswan. The sun is the king of all planets. We know that, right? From sun itself, we get the source of light, heat, everything. Okay. The kings of all planets needed to understand Bhagavad Gita to rule the citizens and protect them from the material bondage to lust. So here, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is especially needed by the kings. Okay, why? Why are only kings getting the sun god and then from sun god to Manu and Manu to King Ikshvaku? Why? Because the kings are the persons who are ruling it. So they have to know what is dharma, what is adharma, what they have to do. So all that knowledge is given in the Bhagavad Gita. So because of that, they will know how, because of the dharma, what they have to do. If they know dharma, they can protect the kingdom, protect the people, everything. I mean, they can protect them from, as it is said, like material bondage to lust. Okay, they can because the common people, if they don't understand the spiritual knowledge, they are more concerned about their body. But if the king knows that we are soul and our duty is to go back to Godhead, so he can guide the people, right? So that is all mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. So it is a must for the kings to know, and common people follow the king. So that's the reason. Okay. The message that human life is meant for cultivation of spiritual knowledge should be conveyed to the citizens through education, culture, and devotion. Okay, so that this should be known to everybody. Okay, this message should be spread. Nobody knows. Many of them don't know. They don't have that spiritual education. So that's why that's the reason Prabhupada took up this task of preaching Krishna consciousness, and he spread this throughout the world. He wants everybody of us to do the same. Okay. Propagation of Krishna consciousness was necessary. So in this millennium, the sun god is known as Vivaswan. So now in this millennium, the sun god is known as Vivaswan, the king of sun planet. The sun planet is the origin of all the planets within the solar system. Okay. So in the Brahma Samhita, it is said, Yat chakshuresha savita sakala grahanam raja samasta sura murtir asesha teja yasyajnaya brahmati samputa kala chakro govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Okay. So sun is, so Lord Krishna originally made Vivaswan his first disciple to understand the science of Bhagavad Gita. So we saw, right, millions of years ago, Krishna made Vivaswan, the sun god, his first disciple. The Gita is a standard book of knowledge coming down from times immemorial. So we can understand that the Bhagavad Gita is not just spoken to Arjuna 5,000 years ago. It was spoken some millions of years ago. Okay. So the history of Gita is, as said in the Mahabharata, Shanti Parva, it is said like this. In the Treta Yuga, this science of relationship with the Supreme was delivered to Vivaswan, its lawgiver to son Manu. So in Treta Yuga, this Bhagavad Gita was given to Vivaswan. Okay, it was given to Manu by his father Vivaswan, by sun god Vivaswan, okay, in Treta Yuga. So Manu, being the father of mankind, gave it to his son and disciple, Maharaja Ikshvaku, who was the king of this earth. So when did it come to earth? Through Ikshvaku, Maharaj Ikshvaku it came, right? And he is the forefather of Raghu dynasty in which Lord Ramachandra appeared. So Bhagavad Gita existed in human society from the time of Maharaj Ikshvaku. Okay. It came to this earthly planet at the time when Maharaja Ikshvaku was ruling. Okay. Okay. So now in the shloka, if you see, so it is said that Krishna says that this transcendental knowledge is avyayam. It is imperishable. So why they are saying this? Because the knowledge that we learn from schools, colleges, and in material from material life, so the value of that knowledge it reduces with time. Okay, sometimes that knowledge changes also. Okay, we see every 5 years or 3 years or 2 years, we see that the school textbooks and the college textbooks keep changing, and the knowledge in that, the contents of that, everything keeps changing. Okay, why is it that if the knowledge is same, the textbooks keep changing every year? Every year almost we get a new edition. Why? Okay, why is there change in knowledge? Okay, see, because I mean, like there is change in knowledge. Okay, and that's why they, since the knowledge has become old, to update it, they have to create a new edition. Okay, or sometimes it's not because the knowledge is old, it is because maybe it is wrong, it has to be updated. Okay, the data was wrong or something, it needs to be updated. Earlier they thought, okay, through this experiment it came like this. After a few years they do research and then they come to know, oh no, what we earlier said is wrong, this is right. And so they had to update it, so it has to be updated in the textbook again. So there is a change in knowledge. Okay, so that is why these changes are there. So everything keeps changing here because the material world itself is changing. But the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita that is given by sun god Vivaswan millions of years ago, and 5,000 years ago again it was given to Arjuna, that is imperishable. Okay, and that knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is called Apaurushaya. Why? Because it is not Purusha, it is Apaurusha. It means that it is not given by a Purusha, a common man. It is given by Bhagavan himself, God himself. Now we see scientists, philosophers writing books on knowledge. Okay, but that knowledge has some faults. Okay, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita given by Krishna has no faults at all. Till now, it is the same knowledge given millions of years ago. That same knowledge we are using. It's not like a material knowledge which keeps changing. Okay, it is always the same. Okay, and till today we use it, and it is so helpful for us. Okay, this Bhagavad Gita, which we are reading now, is read not only by devotees, it is read by philosophers, scientists, scholars, and Albert Einstein, who was a great physicist, he read the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, and great leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and all read this Bhagavad Gita. Okay, this Bhagavad Gita not only nationally but internationally also it's read by many people. Okay, so they when they read this book, they came to know many things. They praised the Bhagavad Gita, and actually Bhagavad Gita is like a manual for humans. So how we should live our human life. What is the goal of our life? So all these things are given in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so that is why this knowledge is always useful irrespective of time. See, the knowledge in material world with time, it keeps changing. But this Bhagavad Gita, it never changes. Irrespective of time, it is still the same. Because it is coming from Krishna, who is not material. And he does not have the imperfection, four imperfection, because he's not on the material platform, he's on the transcendental platform, right? So he does not have these four defects. Okay, he's not material, he's on the spiritual platform. So he knows everything, he can see everything. So that is why he can give us this true knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. And one more thing is like, why was this knowledge given to the kings? We saw, right, why it has given. Because the kings needed to have that knowledge. Okay, then only they can tell the people. Like if they have the knowledge, then only they can guide the people, right? They can tell the people what is right, what is wrong, what should be followed, what should not be followed. Okay, so if the kings know what is the dharma, then only they can protect the people. Okay, so that is why the kings needed this knowledge. So let's go. See, at the present moment, we have just passed through 5,000 years of the Kali Yuga. You know, the lifespan of Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years, and now only 5,000 years have passed. And so, and before this was Dwapara Yuga, which is double of Kali Yuga. Okay, so that is into two. You can do Kali Yuga into two, that is Dwapara Yuga. And then Treta Yuga into three, Kali Yuga into three. And then we have last is Satya Yuga. So that is into four, right? 4 times of Kali Yuga. Okay, so that's some, okay. Years ago, Manu spoke the Bhagavad Gita to his disciple and son Maharaj Ikshvaku, the king of this planet Earth. Okay, so these are all calculations, okay? When it was spoken to Arjuna, when to Manu, when to Ikshvaku, all that, okay? So next we'll see here, there are different paramparas. Here you can see, right? I'll zoom in. Okay, so to any of these 4 paramparas, like we can worship Krishna. Okay, so one is like the Rudra, Brahma Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and the Kumara Sampradaya. So the Brahma Sampradaya, we are proud to be in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So Lord, through Lord Brahma, and the main person preaching is Madhvacharya. And we say, we add Gaudiya because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu propagated this movement. He's a Gaudiya. So that's why it's we are from Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Parampara. We call ourselves. Okay, and the second parampara is from Sri Lakshmi Devi. Okay, headed by Ramanujacharya, and the third is like Rudra Sampradaya, Lord Shiva, and headed by Vishnu Swami, and the 4 Kumaras we know, Kumara Sampradaya, headed by Nimbarkacharya. Okay, these are all bona fide sampradayas. So we can perform our devotional service through any of these sampradayas. Okay. Okay, so each of the sampradayas are given here, like who is the authority and what they preached. There are some differences between each sampradaya, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he did, he took 2 from each and he incorporated in our philosophy. Okay. So I'll give you the PPT after, I mean, like after the 4th chapter is over. Can please read them and you can get back. Because in Sri Sampradaya, they followed Vishishta Advaita philosophy. And in Brahma Sampradaya, they followed Vishishta Advaita philosophy. Rudra Sampradaya, they followed Shuddha Advaita. Okay. And in Kumara Sampradaya, they followed Dvaita Advaita philosophy. Okay. So all these philosophies, like, they will go over our head. So if we just follow our philosophy, that's enough for us. But just to tell you that there are 4 sampradayas, main sampradayas, through which Krishna, devotional service of Krishna can be done, is told here. Okay. And who was the main person who propagated that movement. Okay, and the significance of parampara. So why we should go only through parampara. Okay, so the Bhagavad Gita is coming directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is a transcendental knowledge and must not be altered in any ways. That is why we've discussed, right? Why parampara is needed. Because Bhagavad Gita is, I mean, like it's told by, it's got from the lotus mouth of God, Krishna himself. What is the use if it is altered? How fortunate we are to listen to the message directly from the Lord. Which is spoken to Arjuna, we are able to listen the same message as it is. How fortunate, without any adulteration. Right? So that is why that parampara is needed. It's not that one fine person, one day, one person comes up and he says, why should I take Bhagavad Gita like that only as it is? I will read the Bhagavad Gita and I will use my intelligence. I am very intelligent. I will create my own Bhagavad Gita. I will write my Gita. Why should I take this Bhagavad Gita? I have intelligence. I am scholarly. I can nicely present it in a nice way. Everything I can do, I will do it. I will write my Gita. And I will tell that is Bhagavad Gita. No, not like that. What is the use of your knowledge? You have 4 imperfections. So what is the use of that book? No. So that's why it should not be altered. No additions, no reductions, as it is. So the knowledge of the Gita must be accepted without material interpretation or by mental speculation. Okay. So we should not doubt the Gita. Take it as it is. Okay. We should not say, oh, let me see if this is correct, that is correct. Mental speculation, no. No experimenting, no nothing. We know that it is coming from Krishna. So obviously Krishna, what he says is true. Okay. So it must be understood by the mercy of the Lord. See, not like people who say, right, no, I will read it, I will interpret it myself, not like that. So we can understand it only by the mercy of the Lord. Okay. How much ever the Lord wishes that gives us the power to understand, that much only we can understand. Otherwise, we cannot understand anything. By the mercy of Guru or a pure devotee or Lord Krishna, otherwise we cannot understand the Bhagavad Gita. That is the proper qualification. Having learned it properly from someone having the proper qualification who learned it properly, etc. So that is parampara. So parampara is like what Krishna gives it to Brahma. The same thing Brahma transfers to Narada. The same thing Narada gives to Vyasadeva as it is. So that is parampara. Okay. Now we'll see. Then in L1 also we saw, right? The lifespan of Brahma, how it is calculated. So actually we have 4 yugas, right? Kali Yuga, Dwapara, Treta, Satya Yuga. So Kali Yuga we saw is 4,32,000 and Dwapara is into 2, Treta is into 3, Satya is into 4. So these 4 combined is one Divya Yuga. Okay, so when you combine the 4 yugas, it comes to 4.32 million years. Okay, and then next Manvantara. What is Manvantara? Is 71 Divya Yugas. So one Divya Yuga is 4.32 million years. So 71 means 71 into 4.32. That comes to 306.72 million years. Okay, and now a Kalpa, a day of Brahma means 14 Manvantaras. So one Manvantara is like 306.72. So 14 Manvantaras means 14 into 306. Sorry. Yeah, 14 into 306.72 a million years. Okay. And plus 15 Sandhyas. Sandhyas we can see right on the right hand side, and in the Divya Yuga, for everything that transition phase will be there. Those are called Sandhyas. Like wherein one yuga is changing to another yuga, there will be that change that all of a sudden you can't change from Kali Yuga directly to Dwapar Yuga. It's like when you switch off the fan, immediately the fan doesn't stop, right? Slowly it stops, right? Like that, that transition phase is called Sandhya. So that small gap also they are mentioning. So there'll be 15 Sandhyas, right? So when there are 14 Manus, obviously there'll be 15 gaps, right, from the starting. So plus 15 Sandhyas. So 51 Sandhya is 1.728. So plus 15 into 1.728. So that one Kalpa, a day of Brahma, comes to 4.32 billion years. Okay. Now the life of Brahma is, this is only till here we are calculating only days, not nights. Okay. So now life of Brahma, they are saying 36,000 kalpas. So that is only day of Brahma again. So 36,000 kalpas means 36,000 into 1 kalpa is 4.32 billion years. So you multiply that and do into 2. See, 36,000 into 4.32 is only for day. Okay. And for night again, we have to do double, right? So into 2. So when we do that, we get 311.04 trillion years is the lifespan of life of Brahma. okay, is 100 years, including day and night. Okay. So this is all calculation. You can just check out all these calculations. So now life of Brahma has 50 years has passed, and out of 14 manvantras, 66 manvantras are over, and 27 cycles of yugas are over. Actually 71, right? 27 cycles are over, and Satya, this is time elapsed in Kali Yuga is 5,700 years. So life of Brahma is now totally 155.522 trillion years. In the sense, his 50 years is now equal to our 155.522 trillion years. Okay. And life of Manu. So, accepting that before the birth of Manu, the Gita was spoken to Lord and disciple, the sun god Vivaswan. Gita was spoken 120 million years ago to Vivaswan. Okay, so we can see here that Vivaswan's sun god got this Bhagavad Gita knowledge 120 million years ago. Okay, and when did it come on earth? Okay, it came on earth 2 million years ago through Ikshvaku, when Manu gave it to Maharaj Ikshvaku, his son and disciple Ikshvaku. Okay, so that time Bhagavad Gita came to the earth through Maharaj Ikshvaku. So that was when 2 million years ago. Okay. So this is all. One day of Brahma is so many years. 1 hour you are divide by 24. 1 minute you divide by 60. 1 second of Brahma again you divide by 60. Okay. So 4.3 we'll see quickly. Sa evayam mayate adya yogaha proktaha puratanaha bhakto asi me sakha cheti rahasyam hi etad uttamam. That very science, ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. So why is Krishna telling this Gita to Arjuna? What is Arjuna's qualification? Arjuna is a devotee and friend. Okay, to understand the Bhagavad Gita, first of all, we have to be a devotee. So non-devotees, you see the Bhagavad Gita is in the market, nobody believes in Krishna. They're all non-devotees. Practically, if you see, some person must have completed his IIT, and some he does something like that. Because he has knowledge, he has done research, they start writing their own books about the Gita. So practically they don't accept Krishna as God. Okay, they accept him as a political person, like as a king, as a powerful person. Considering him like that, they read the Bhagavad Gita. So that is of no use. You can't understand the Bhagavad Gita that way. So now Krishna is telling Arjuna, because you're a devotee, only a devotee can understand Krishna. Because a devotee accepts Krishna as God. See, when you accept somebody as God, then only you'll be able to take that instruction. If you just think he's a normal person like you or some little bit great, you tend to speculate. I mean, like you say, why should I listen to you? We argue, right? But God is like ultimate, like he's above all of us. He's the source of all of us, right? So when you take Krishna in that sense, then you can understand the Bhagavad Gita. Not if you take him as a common man, like the king, normal king, and a powerful man or like a politician. No, you can't understand Krishna. So that's why Krishna is telling Arjuna, why I'm giving this, because you're a devotee and my friend. He accepts Krishna, see, and we should accept Krishna as God, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, the instructions have no value. No, Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, he accepted him as his guru. That's why he could accept the instructions. If he thinks he's a normal person, see, Arjuna, till he was a friend, he took Krishna as a friend, he didn't take Krishna seriously. Only when he took Krishna as his guru, was he serious. So we can only take the instructions of Bhagavad Gita if we consider Krishna as God. Otherwise, we will not be able to take the instructions seriously. So only devotees can understand this knowledge, not who do not accept Krishna as he is. Okay, before we go to the next one, Yeah. In this previous shloka, there's kings are called Raja Rishi. So kings, they were saintly. Okay, they knew about God. Okay, they knew about their dharma. It's not like kings in the sense they were just always enjoying playing dice, going hunting, and all that. No, they were Raja Rishi at that time. So they were saintly also. They knew about God. They knew about dharma. They knew how to lead a dharmic life. Okay, so why Prabhupada wrote, we actually be wondering why Prabhupada wrote the Bhagavad Gita again, though there were so many Bhagavad Gitas available in the market. Okay, why? Because the people who wrote the Bhagavad Gitas were non-devotees. So they didn't come in that Guru Sishya Parampara. So then why did he write the Bhagavad Gita? Why did these people write the Bhagavad Gita if they are not in Guru Parampara and if they're not in uh, why did they write? They have no authority to write. Why did they write? Because one thing is they know English and Sanskrit well, and they wanted name and fame. And they all know that this Bhagavad Gita is a famous book. It has been many people read it through ages. They know it's a famous book. So they think that if I write this book again for my this thing, then I will also become famous as a writer. I will also get nice fame and name and everything. So many people think that any Bhagavad Gita that we read is Bhagavad Gita only. It has the same knowledge. Actually, in a way, it is yes. If you see till the translation, it will be okay. Any Bhagavad Gita, if you take translation, will be the same. But purport will be different. The Tatparya will be different. The commentaries given in detail, the purports will be different. That commentary you have to read. Because translation, the two-line translation will be the same for everybody in any Bhagavad Gita. But the translation to the purport, the detailed meaning that is given by each acharya, that is more important. That will vary. These people, they whatever these people, individual people, no, non-devotees, they will change, twist and turn and they write whatever they want in that purport there. Because they're not devotees of the Lord, they will write not nonsense or they'll be writing. Okay, and they try to cheat these innocent people. And innocent people, they get attracted to their flowery words and everything. They write it so nicely, they're so scholarly. They attract the people saying that this is Gita, this only you have to read, like this you have to do. And they get attracted, they fall into the trap. Okay? We should not actually read if a material person is writing the Bhagavad Gita because he has all these 4 material defects. Okay, what are the 4 defects? He has imperfect senses, tendency to cheat, illusion, he commits mistake. So what is the use? Okay. So the purpose Krishna told the Bhagavad Gita can never be reached. Why Krishna wanted to preach the Bhagavad Gita? That purpose itself is lost when that individual person who's a non-devotee is writing it. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada said, before I wrote the Bhagavad Gita, many Bhagavad Gitas were there in the market. But nobody became devotees reading that Bhagavad Gita. But after Prabhupada wrote the Bhagavad Gita as it is, many people became devotees. Their whole life changed after reading the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, but when these common people wrote the Bhagavad Gita, there was no change. Even after people read the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because it is not in disciplic succession. It is not in parampara. Okay, it is not as it is. They are putting their own these things. I mean, like whatever they want to write, they are writing. So what is the use of that? Okay, so that is the reason. And if you see now, Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita is the most widely read Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so reading that, crores of people have changed and have become devotees. Okay. Okay, actually, it is said that one reporter asked Prabhupada, like every sadhu or sannyasi or Swamiji who comes here, he does some magic. Prabhupada, what magic have you done? The reporter asked. So Prabhupada said, can't you see? I have changed so many people in the Western people, like from America, London, Britain, Australia. I see so many people, they were all into drugs and all these bad habits, drinking, illicit sex and everything. See, I've made them into, turned them into pure devotees. I've made the hippies into happies. Now they're chanting, they're doing devotional service. They don't even know who Krishna is. Now they know who Krishna is. And their whole life is dedicated to Krishna now. That, what more magic do you want? Isn't this magic? That's what he told them. Okay, and one more reporter, he asked Srila Prabhupada, like Swamiji, like many of the Swamijis and sannyasis, they keep coming to America. They come with the intention to earn some money or wealth or do some business. They come. Why have you come? What is your intention? Why did you come to America? What is your this thing? Why did you come here to this place? So Srila Prabhupada said, your British people, when they were ruling India, they took everything, they stole everything, all our wealth, gold, ornaments, diamonds, precious things, everything they have taken, everything, and they stole everything and they went left. But they forgot to take the main wealth. That is Bhagavad Gita. So I have come to give you all that wealth. I have not come to take anything from you. I have come to give you that wealth. Okay. So that is the greatness of Bhagavad Gita. So that Bhagavad Gita which comes in parampara, we have to read. Not any mundane person who's a non-devotee, who's not in parampara, writes the Bhagavad Gita. It's of no use. It's like reading a fiction novel. Okay? So we should always read Bhagavad Gita which is in parampara. So let's please do the last one. It will be over. Aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvataha katham etad vignaniyam tvam adau proktavan iti. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed the science to him? So now Arjuna is asking, see, we both are contemporary of the same age. You're saying you've given this knowledge to sun god, who was like so many million years back, you give. But you are my age. How can I know that you've given the same knowledge? So why Arjuna is like confused. Krishna is of the same age, and how come he gave the same message to sun god millions and millions of years ago? How is it possible? So he was confused. Actually, Arjuna is not confused. He's a pure devotee of the Lord, but he was put by Yoga Maya in this condition so that he could raise this doubt to clarify for people like us who think that Krishna is an ordinary person. So he wants to prove that Krishna is God. Arjuna wants to prove that Krishna is God. So that is why he's asking this question. How is it that he wants to show that obviously millions of years ago he remembers means he's God. Only God can remember, right? We can't even remember what we did one day ago exactly at this time. Okay, so God, when somebody remembers something millions of years ago, so he is God, obviously. So Arjuna wants to tell everybody that Krishna is not an ordinary person. He is God himself. So that is why indirectly he is asking, how is it that we both are of the same age? How is it that you told this Bhagavad Gita to sun god millions of years ago? How is it? So here, why does Arjuna ask a question about this doubt? See, to defy demoniac and atheistic people who say Krishna is ordinary. So Arjuna wants Krishna to speak authoritatively. So now Arjuna is expecting Krishna to speak himself and say that he's God himself. And Krishna has no option, right? Now Krishna is asking, Arjuna is asking, how? But he has to tell, right, the reason. He is God. That's why he's able to remember. And Arjuna is a common person. That is why he forgets. So he has to tell that. So for that reason, he asks this question. So Arjuna is inquiring these for those who do not believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna knew perfectly that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, the fountainhead, everything, and the last word in transcendence. So Krishna appeared as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva on this earth as Lord's benediction. Okay, the atheists who consider Krishna an ordinary man come to know that Krishna is superhuman, that he is Satchidananda Vigraha, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge. that is transcendental and that is above the domination of the modes of material nature and above the influence of time and space. Okay. And now Krishna, the Sri Krishna Avatara took place during the Sandhi Kala. That small time, transition time is there, right? So Krishna's birth took during that place of time of Dwapar Yuga, in the 20th Mahayuga of Vaivasvata Manvantara. So Lord Krishna, considered as the Paripurna Avatara of Lord Sriman Narayana, took birth in Chandravamsham, okay, in Yadu dynasty, in the clan of Vrushni. So he was born in the Moon dynasty, okay. So he was born to the noble couple Vasudeva and his consort Devaki as their eighth child. So Devaki and Vasudeva, who were they in their previous birth? They performed severe penances for several thousands of years to have Lord Sri Mahavishnu as their child for 3 lives. So as a result, they were born, they got Lord Sriman Narayana took birth as Prishnigarbha in Krita or Satyayuga to the divine couple Prishni and Sutapa. So Lord was born as Prishnigarbha to Prishni and Sutapa, and Vamana to Kashyapa and Aditi, and as Krishna to Devaki and Vasudeva in Krishna Avatara, Dwapara Yuga, thus fulfilling the boon given to them. So before taking birth, he gave to the darshan to his parents in his original form of Sriman Narayana and reminding of their lineage and boon. So he tells them that you are like this, like this, like this. Now you are like Devaki and Vasudeva. Earlier 2 births, he tells them you are this, this, and now you are this, this. Now I am born as Krishna to you. He reminds them. So now in the next class, we'll see how from 5 to 10, how Krishna reveals his identity, that he is God. Okay, so that we'll see. And before that, if anybody has doubts,